Hello.
You're gonna die in here, cop.
That would happen. But in prison, they're not gonna come up to you and say you're gonna die. You're just gonna die. Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I'm gonna be reviewing the TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine about a fictional police precinct in Brooklyn, New York. And as I said, fictional. There's no 99th precinct in Brooklyn, New York. So anyway, in this show, it's gonna be about two cops that go to prison. And that's what's gonna make this show a little bit different. I'm gonna tell you what's real and not real and see what's really off the chain. But before I get started, please check out member programs on Patreon, also our member program on YouTube, and also everybody, please join the Larry Lawton Action Crew. I love doing that stuff, trying to help people without a voice. All right, everybody, let's get going on this review. This should be fun.
Just eating butter like a popsicle, huh, Boyle?
Yeah, I know, I'm spoiling myself, but I'm depressed. Or have you forgotten that Jake, my best friend, is in prison?
It's about two cops that were framed, supposedly by another lieutenant in the police department for a bank robbery, and they go into prison. Wouldn't be that easy, of course. We know that. Obviously, we know that. All right, it's Jericho Supermax Prison in South Carolina. First of all, they don't do that. They're running the bars down the thing. They don't do that. They wouldn't do that. Most Supermax, first of all, Supermax would have doors. There's doors on it. So there's not the bars.
You woke up happy for once.
You're damn right I did. It's visiting day.
Now there's visiting day. I got a kick out of that because there is a visiting day in prison, obviously. Certain days are visiting. They might have 3 days a week now that are visiting days. So that is true. They do have visiting days in prison. And you get notified of a visit while you're waiting. And you should see the prep somebody does to get ready for a visit. I mean, people press their browns, you know, the khakis you wear. They literally get irons and press them. And there's not an iron in prison. So what they do is they steam it. They place it under their bed all night. They make it perfect. It's unbelievable. Even some prisons, the medium security prisons, did have an iron. They'd have to check it out and they'd watch you do it, something like that. But you should see what people, they shine their shoes to the T, they get haircuts, they're ready for that visit. When they say they get ready, it's a big day to get a visit in prison.
Miguel, happy visiting day. And he hung himself.
Look at that. Hey, Miguel, happy visiting day. And he hung himself. If he hung himself in prison, that whole prison would be locked down. It wouldn't be just, it's like a normal day in prison. Nah, that ain't happening. And in a Supermax, you're not walking around like that. That's not happening either. Supermax is you're locked down 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. You might get an hour rec. In Supermax, you might get. And actually in a Supermax, it's a whole different thing. I talked about prisons. In Florence, Colorado, they actually are on a circle and a shower comes to them. Then maybe an hour of a library comes to them. It's on a circle and the person's in a cell and they get to use that facility like that. So you never leave the cell.
Oh man, 3 weeks is way too long.
They do get to hug like that. And that is when contraband is passed. If a person, not me, let me say not me, if a person got a visit like that, that woman would slide her hand away from the guard down the guy's pants in the back and slide something up his rectum and hide something in there. He'd take a tube of heroin or look like a Kotex tube and put it in there, the stuff in there, and then just reach down his pants in the back, slide it up his butt. He would actually go, because you can't just take it in, because your search going out to prison to a visit and your search going back in to the prison from the visiting room. So you're searched both ways. You're bending over, spreading them, lifting up your nuts, up, down, open your mouth, the whole works. That's how prison visits are. So they are actually a lot of, I should say it's a stressful day for prisoners getting visits. You're excited on one point, but you hate all the crap you got to go through for visits. But you do it because you need visits in prison. And the people who don't get them, it's pretty sad.
Now you are, and we can finally talk.
There's an incident in the yard. We're going into lockdown. Inmates, line up.
No.
Let me stop. That does happen. There could be something major, and they'll shut down the prison, and they'll ask everybody to leave. But it's more calm than that. Everyone don't just jump up. They tell everybody to sit, stay where you're at. They ask the people to get up. They leave, And then when they leave, then they still search you going back in the prison. There's nothing that's going to stop them from not searching you going back into the prison. But they do have incidents like this happen. But it's rare. They usually even let visits go. They'll have a lockdown, and I've seen the visits keep going until the visit is over. So I've seen it both ways, and that's kind of normal what's going on here.
Sergeant.
In this incident, they're talking through a glass. That usually happens in county jails. You don't see that in prison. Again, in certain prisons they will have that, but it's not like this either. The guy kissing through the glass and stuff like that. And no cop like that would be doing that. They would have special visits. They'd go through what they call the lawyer visit, where you go into a different visiting room.
My family hasn't been to see me since my trial.
This part's funny.
9 people and all of a sudden
it's a cannibalizer.
Anymore.
Jeffrey Dahmer. Think Jeffrey Dahmer.
What? The secret is eating the evidence.
Okay, this is just great.
Again, this would never happen in a prison. This is a supermax prison, a cannibalizer people, and a cop that wouldn't last 10 minutes on the yard. Literally 10 minutes.
Look, if you really want to talk to people on the outside, just get a cell phone.
Yeah, that'd be great, but it's illegal, right?
There's this guy in Gen Pop, Romero. He can smuggle anything into this place.
Yes, there are people who smuggle things in prison. I've talked many times about guards that brought things into prison. We had a guard bring in stuff in at $1,000 a clip. He thought he was bringing in marijuana, but they actually stuck heroin and cocaine inside the marijuana, and he snuck it into the prison. But yes, and they do have cell phones in prison. Not legally, of course. They're smuggled in. It's a common item now. They're getting caught. But if you get caught with a cell phone in prison, it's an escape charge. I've seen some crazy things. Obviously, people get certain things smuggled into prison. Food is the biggest different thing. Whiskey, actual liquor. I mean, we drank hooch and we drank White Lightning, and I'm going to do a video on that. But actually, people have gotten actual alcohol. I've seen vodka smuggled in, and it wouldn't be in the bottle. It would be in a regular bottle of water or something like that, and it would be smuggled in. But I have seen alcohol smuggled in. I've also seen steroids smuggled in. Muscle heads. These guys want to get big and strong, and they actually had steroids. I don't know why, but that's what they wanted in there.
Phone's $100. That's no problem.
I got no use for cash. I want 100 soups.
Soups? Yeah.
100 soups, ramen noodle soups. I'm telling you, they are money in prison.
Someone who's eaten a lot of ramen in his life, here's a tip. Leave a few noodles uncooked and then sprinkle them on top afterwards like a garnish.
That brought back a lot of memories. I used to crush them up and eat them raw. And then they actually drink water afterwards, and they would fill my stomach so I wasn't hungry. But you can do a lot with ramen noodle soups. And in my cooking show coming real soon, even during the coronavirus, I'm going on the road. I'm going to be doing it out of my RV. So stay tuned for that. But this is going to be good. This ramen noodle soup, what they're doing, is pretty wild.
But in the end, they gave us room to work. Well,
Now, did you see him switching shoes? They're going to check your shoes going out. I'm telling you, the only way to get something in prison is either swallowing it or suitcasing it.
I can't believe I'm hearing your voice.
I know, it's so amazing.
And now every day can be like visiting day, and we can just talk about it.
Now, look, he's got the cell phone. He's got earbuds to boot. I mean, you're really doing good in prison. That wouldn't happen. You'd have a cell phone. You wouldn't use it out in the open like that at all. It would be used at night, at 1 at night, 12 at night, or whatever, and in a spot in prison, which you'll see videos. They go to the bathroom. They go to where they know the guards aren't around. It's not going to be open like this. It's not going to be just in a book thinking here comes the guard.
Hey, Warden, what's up?
What the hell are these? I found them doing a sweep of your bunks.
Oh, we got those at the commissary.
Picante beef? You think I don't know the picante beef is the street flavor?
Let's stop that off the bat, too. The warden's not coming to see you ever. Ever. You get to see the warden on his checks when he goes through the hole. That's about it. But you're not going to be just seeing the warden when you want to see the warden. Or he's not coming around talking about contraband found in your cell. You're getting pulled to the lieutenant's office. After you're at the lieutenant's office, they're going to take you to the hole, number one, if they find something in there. And they're going to do an investigation. They're going to give you 30 days in the hole. And they're going to take away good time. And they're going to do an investigation on how you got illegal contraband into a prison. Trust me, it wouldn't be like this. But it is kind of funny.
You're gonna bring contraband into my prison and flaunt my rules? Pack your bags. You're going to Gen Pop.
Obviously, a cop wouldn't go to general population. A cop is going to be in what they call, we used to call them rat factories or the snitch house. They call them WITSEC, Witness Protection Programs. They have places where they put the cops and judges, stuff like that.
I can't believe we're going to Gen Pop. A cop and a cannibal. Everyone's gonna be trying to kill us.
This actually kind of brought back memories. Going into a new unit, and they give you a bedroll. You usually got a bedroll and a bag, like a paper bag or whatever crap you have, if you have anything. Usually you don't have any because you're coming from the shoe. If you're coming from the shoe, it'll give you your stuff, and it'll be in a pillowcase, literally a pillowcase. Other than that, if you're coming off the bus or something like that, you're not gonna have any property as it is. They don't just get off the bus with your property. It gets processed. They check your property out after it gets sent there, and after they send your property to the prison, you have to go down and then you sign for your property, whatever legal books, whatever cups and stuff you have, and that might take a week in some prisons, sometimes 2 weeks, where you don't have anything, no property at all.
Oh. Hello.
You're gonna die in here, cop. What's up, kid?
What's up, Chico?
That would happen. But in prison, they're not going to come up to you and say you're going to die. You're just going to die. They're just going to shank you. They're going to cut you. They're going to go after you. They're going to throw you off a tier. There's going to be 5 guys that run into your cell, and it's over.
I think I'm gonna need to join a gang. That way I'll have protection and no one will mess with me.
I don't know, man. Joining a gang is not that easy.
That does happen. You don't just want to join a gang, though. They have to want you. You start hanging around with them, whatever it is, people talk to them, and it's a slow process. And they check you out. Guys like me would check you out, would pull your paperwork and see if you were a stand-up guy, what your charge was, stuff of that nature. You don't just say, I want to join a gang. It's not like, okay, I'll join that gang. You'll get sucked into a gang is what happens. They suck you in, and that's what makes it so dangerous for young people. And that's why I don't want young people to go to prison.
And I'm just super excited to join. What are you guys called again?
ISIS.
Let's stop ISIS right away. ISIS is not in prisons, not in general population. If they were with ISIS, they're getting killed. Terrorists get killed in prison because people have families out there in the real world. And in America, during 9/11, there were terrorists that got killed in prison. I watched a terrorist I was in the hole in Lewisburg in transfer going to Atlanta when they killed a guy in general population. They stabbed him over 30 times and killed him.
Do you know how long I've been in this prison?
17 years!
Well, you look great.
This is so stupid. It's funny. It's so stupid.
Crumbling the noodle on top gives it an extra little crispity snap. I was blown away. Wasn't I, Tank?
Hasn't stopped talking about it.
We had a guy in prison that was as big as that guy over there, the beard, called Mountain, and you didn't want him to like you. You didn't want that to happen.
You gotta do one more thing for me to close the deal.
Absolutely no problem. I actually have a great idea for a ramen dessert. You make it with Jell-O mix.
I need you to kill a guard.
This actually happens. They recruit kids or younger people to hit somebody. They sat in their chair. They didn't pay a debt, and you'll see a lot of that in prison. And I often see young people get sucked into gangs. Before you know it, I heard that the kid stabbed somebody. The kid did something. The kid hit a guy with a lock on the yard. They put a lock in a sock or on a belt, and they bashed the guy's head in with it. And I've seen that many times. That does happen. They recruit people to do damage to other people, and it's, the person who's doing it, is just trying to be accepted, but he just ruins his life because you're going to get charged. You kill someone in prison, you're getting a murder charge. It's not like, oh, you're off. You're getting a murder charge.
How are you gonna do it? Shiv him? Shank him? Stab him?
Are those different?
Oh.
Shivs and shanks. A shank, pokers they're also called. Shank them, boom, it's a sticker, boom, boom. A shiv is something you cut, you slice. You make a shiv with a toothbrush with a razor blade on the end. Slice them. A shank, it's a long piece of steel that will go in you and kill you. And they make them with nails. They can make them with fence posts. They get pieces off lockers and make them and file them down. Put them on a handle, a piece of wood. Boom, boom. That's a shank, and it'll kill you. Shivs usually cut you, and unless you can cut the artery or cut the throat, usually, but you're gonna get a lot of stitches out of it. Cut marks all over you.
You have 24 hours, beef baby. Jake. Beef baby.
You don't negotiate with gang leaders. And they're called shot callers in prison. That's a shot caller.
Beef baby.
Obviously, most names, you know what you're called? You're called from where you're from. You'll see some, hey man, hey, there's Brooklyn. There was a kid in Atlanta we used to call Brooklyn. He was from Brooklyn, matter of fact. But then, hey, you know, there's a kid from South Carolina, hey, Tampa. You know, usually something like that. Guys get nicknames, but they also, everybody knows everybody's name usually. But there are nicknames, Bruiser or whoever name you want to call it. There's just different names.
All I have to do is get him to attack me and then file a complaint with the prison board.
Sure, but whenever the bulls attack us, which happens all the time, the security cameras are conveniently not working that day.
That is true. Believe me, the guards will shut the cameras or take you to a place where there is no cameras and beat your ass.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Get back to your table.
Yeah, you know I would, except for... Oh my God, that's all it took?
I told you to get back.
Yes, this is not uncommon. Cops beating your ass. They wouldn't beat your ass with a baton. They don't carry those batons around. They don't do that.
Caleb, is this it? Did you film yourself the whole time?
Okay, look, I've been in prison for 15 years. I'm not good with new technology.
Come on, let's try it again.
Hey, Wilson!
Once a cop hits you or once there's an incident, you're going to the box. You're not going back to the yard. You're not doing anything like that. Come on, guys. That's kind of funny.
I'll fire Wilson.
Really? Why?
I've always wanted a man on the inside.
Oh, no. No. The only people less popular in here than cops are snitches.
Well, let's be honest. It's not great in here for trans people.
That is so true.
That was not true. Obviously, you know, a convict is a convict. I've seen many trans and whatever the person is. If you're a stand-up person, you're going to be all right in prison. But I get a kick out of it. He don't want to be a snitch, but he's a cop. I don't get that.
I'll do what you want. If you let me keep my phone.
First of all, they would never in a zillion years let a guy keep a cell phone in prison. Are you kidding me? That is the biggest no-no in prison. I'm telling you, it's an escape charge. How you really communicate in prison is, in today's world, they actually have email. They charge them. They charge them like 5 cents every minute or a couple of minutes or something of that nature. So you better get good at typing. They have a console. They do that now. When I was in, you had to make a phone call, and you can only make a 15-minute phone call, and then the phone shuts down after that 15-minute phone call, so you can't call that number again. You had to have your family on the outside put money on your phone, they call it. So they would actually have to put $50, $60 on your phone, or you can do it through commissary. Go to the place and say, I want to put $50 on my phone, and then you can make a call. Obviously, the way I communicated in prison was writing. And one of my videos I'm going to do is I'm going to get you some letters that were sent back to me from people in prison, how hard prison can be. But also, that's how you did it. I wrote my kids, my son and my daughter, all the time. My daughter was 15 months old when I went to prison, so I actually did homework with her when she was in the first grade, second grade, 1 + 1 equals, and leave it blank, and the cat ran over the C blank R, something like that, and she'd have to send it back to me. And it was a way for me to communicate with my daughter. And to this day, she says, you know, Dad, you used to send me homework from prison, but I was trying to stay communicated. And I know they didn't write back or stuff of that nature, and you can't expect that. But you have to stay committed to writing. You have to do it. It's the way to get mail, and it's a way to keep sane. Whether I was in the hole or I was on the yard, I would always take time and make sure I wrote letters. Always.
Oh, my goodness. I wish you had gone to prison years ago. I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm not more attracted to you now than before.
You would see so many things like that in prison. A guy would get off the phone. You know where he went to? He went back to his cell, kind of wanted to get privacy, because you know what they were talking about on the phone when they're, and they know, we all know that the guards are listening. All the phones are monitored. There's a guard that listens to all the phone calls. It just is what it is.
So you got Wilson fired. Nice work. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret it.
Well, ending that show, he would be the beef baby, and he wouldn't last long in prison. It just wouldn't happen. It's kind of interesting show because they show prison in a different light. Some tough, some funny, some stupid. It's a TV show. It's a comedy as well. So they had, it was kind of funny. It was kind of light. But it's funny how I can't look at a show like this without looking at it in the way I look at prison. It's just something that's in me, and I can't help myself. So make sure you don't go to prison. You don't have to look at a TV show the way I look at it. Make a good choice, everybody. Don't be stupid in life. It's just not worth it. Do the right thing by people. Stay strong. Stay out of prison. And please, keep watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Liked if you haven't. Prison cooking show coming up. Thanks for being part of what I do here, guys. I really appreciate it. Stay strong. Stay safe. Listen to the officials with COVID. And please, keep watching. Have a great day.